well, if I were younger, if I had more money, if I had this, if I had that. Anytime we can stop, switch that around and say, well, what do I have and how is that actually a benefit? It can make all the difference. I had a conversation with my 14-year-old daughter, Layla. She's coming to the end of her freshman year. The conversation was about her future and starting to plan for it. I wrote down this, just these 3 points. Help her define her dreams, help her to reach them, and start right now. Mostly just as a reminder so that I would have this conversation and 3 more years wouldn't pass by without us having it. Without going into the details of that conversation, I left it feeling like, wow, she's so lucky to be young and have her whole life ahead of her. She has, this little almost cynical voice started piping up. That must be so nice and so easy. She doesn't have the responsibilities I have. She doesn't have, the worries or whatever it is that us adults tend to have when we start dreaming about our future or our goals and what we can do about them and how attainable they feel in that moment, right? Then the coach within me started noticing this kind of negative talk and asked a question that I'll ask my clients constantly, which is, what's another way of looking at that? That was kind of a disempowering voice that was piping up. And what we want is to say, okay, well, what would an empowering voice say? What would a more positive perspective look like? I spent a little time thinking about that and how it applies to me, but I also think it applies to all of us adults. For instance, now that we are adults and we have experience, we know ourselves better. We know what we actually love. We know what lights us up through trying different things at work and what doesn't, what's kind of draining, what leaves us at the end of the day feeling like, ugh, I hope I don't have another day like that soon. So we have this alignment or this feeling of alignment with what we actually want out of our life that a young kid doesn't quite have yet. We also have what works well and what doesn't. For me, what was coming up was a long-term, short-term thing, as in when I start assessing, is this what I want to do? Is this really a goal that I want to spend time reaching? I can see pretty clearly now what I'll actually stick with and what really matters to me versus something that sounds like fun in the short term. There's also resources. I have a spouse who can support me while I go back to school, take care of the kids while I do a night class or whatever it is. You may have savings that you can put yourself through school, a network that you can lean on. Let me know if any of that resonates with you and what, if anything, shifted as you were watching this video. And that's all I have for today, so I'll see you in the next one.